What is positively geared and what is negatively geared, and what's even neutrally geared. Hey guys, Justin Picker, positive, neutral, negative, positively geared properties. What we're all aiming for, getting a lot harder to do that in reality with interest rates. Positively geared essentially is that after all of your expenses and when your rent comes in, all your expenses are paid, you've got a positive amount left at it. You brought in $20,000 rental income for the year and you had $18,000 worth of expenses, you'd be positive $2,000. Neutrally geared, similar thing. 20 grand in, 20 grand worth of expenses. Might be a little bit short on either side, that's neutrally geared. Negatively geared is when you do not get enough rent to cover your expenses on your investment property. Buy property, it costs you $35,000 a year to hold, but you only get $20,000 rent, you're negative $15,000 a year. And that negative part here can be claimed as a tax deduction. This is where a lot of the off-the-plan spruikers, people selling you that type of stuff, buying a brand new one-bedroom apartment right in the CBD for $700,000 and it rents for $500 a week, that's going to be negatively geared. And they're focusing more on the top end of town, but when people who are on $300,000 a year, and once they're in that kind of higher tax bracket, the tax rate is 47%. So if you were negative $15,000 on your investment property in that tax bracket, you've put that against your $300,000 income, that $15,000 then reduce your taxable income to $285,000. So because your employer's paid the tax on the $300,000, you'd be due for a tax refund here because that loss has lowered your taxable income. For someone who's on $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year, they might go, okay, well that makes sense to me because I can hold that, I can still get that asset, and that's kind of the pitch, that's the sell. You add things like depreciation and try and bring that down further. Is it sustainable though? And that's probably the biggest thing. If you plan on being on $600,000 for the rest of your life, okay, awesome, that's fantastic. But when you stop working, when you want to retire and you had 10 of these properties and they're negative $15,000 a year, that's 10 properties that are negative 150 grand a year. You're not working, bringing in income, but you're negative 150 grand a year. How are you gonna maintain that? How is that gonna give you passive income? It's not. But the retirement endgame of that self-sustainability isn't there unless you sell these properties. And that's really where the big sell comes from, is that that unit that you bought for 700,000, if it went to 1.5 million, there's obviously the equity you use that pay out the debt, offsets the capital gain. We're looking at in our strategy is getting these properties, give you those gains, give you that equity to leverage forward, but have a strong rental return here so they can be self-sustainable. When those mortgages are gone or when you decide to retire, you've got an income coming in. If you were positive $15,000 a year from 10 properties after all expenses with no mortgage when you retire, there's a passive income of 150K. Well, that's really what you want. That could be an income that can make you retire. And that's definitely achievable. Something that will certainly come over time. But really want to buy a overpriced property for a tax deduction, or do you want to buy a property that maybe doesn't have that tax deductibility but has that sustainability? Really will obviously allow you to stay in the lending game for as long as possible. There are some really good properties that are negatively geared if you're really in that blue chip game of buying something in eastern suburbs and it's really, really expensive and you get the growth. Awesome, but obviously the lending on that is going to be a lot harder and it is a bit more select. More of a safer approach that we see, definitely is looking to these properties that are neutral to positively geared. If it's slightly negative, you know, 50 or $100 a week, but we're still getting those long-term benefits, it's something you just need to consider and have a look at your buffers, your numbers, your lending capacity, your portfolio. Can we look at doing that? Just look at the numbers on those properties, make sure it's in line with your scenario. And if you think it's something that you're paying way overs for and the rent's not there and it's going to be a massive hole in your pocket, especially into your retirement or into the future, is the capital growth projected on that going to outweigh the negative that you've got to have of holding that? If you want to reach out, have a look at numbers, do this stuff day in, day out, feel free to shoot us a message, call, text, email, website, whatever it is. Chat soon. Appreciate your time. Cheers.